All right. Hey, everybody. Happy Saturday. It's August 1st. Hopefully, you can hear me. I'm going to put on the chat. Recording a little bit different today. Technology, you just got to love it. Just got to love it. All right. Welcome. Welcome to our monthly goal prep party. Hopefully, you have your Ultimate Goals Handbook. We are working in our career goals this month. Man, it's like month eight. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. I am Coach Sherea, certified coach, trainer, and speaker with the John C. Maxwell leadership team. Also, a DISC analyst, co-founder of the Goal Setters Club, also Goal School, and the author of over 11 books and journals. Just released a new book this week. Excited about that. Excited for you guys to get your hands on that. And hopefully you are in a quiet space, whether you're going to watch the replay or whether you're going to watch me live. Make sure you have your drink. I have my water, your materials, basically just your goals handbook. And then last time we were on here a little bit. We were on here about 90 minutes. I don't plan on being on here in 90 minutes. It depends on your questions. It depends on how many people are on. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's get started. We are in August. It is August 1st. Again, make sure you have your planner. Make sure you have your pen, your notebook. And for premium members, I will have your thing. So you're going to have, for the premium members, you're going to have any resources that are here tonight. Plus you have your career goals in the classroom, plus you have your 30-day career challenge. So all that's inside of the Goal School classroom if you are a premium member, okay? And let me look at the chat. So tonight we're going to go through kind of a two-part. Last time we split it up. So after I was done, we did a like after party work session for people who wanted to work on their book individually. So if you are on and that's something you want to do, we could do that as well. So we are going to celebrate. We're going to build our August plan. And then hopefully you leave prepared and not pressured. That is the goal. So our icebreaker question of the day: what's one word that describes your July? So if you are on live or if you are watching the replay, just go ahead and put, what word describes your July? I think my July was intense. It was very intense. Um, our family, we're in a family situation right now, and it's very interesting. And so I feel like I'm being tested. But I would say just very intense. And I'm excited though, because I'm learning some new things, learning some new things about myself, learning some things about other people, learning some new things about the God I serve and how he shows up. So yeah, I think July for me was pretty intense. So we celebrate July. What were you proud of in July? What brought you genuine joy? What progress did you make? What accomplishments deserve to be celebrated? What answered prayer did you experience? And so you want to take the time to celebrate July. You want to say, hey, find the good in it, find what happened. Like I said, I had a challenging and intense month, but I also am grateful. I'm also thankful. I'm still here. My family is safe. And so, even through certain circumstances, try to find the opportunity to celebrate, try to find the opportunity to be grateful in what you have. And then we release July. What challenged you? What disappointed you? What didn't go as planned? What do you need to forgive yourself for? What lesson will I carry forward into August? And some of these questions are similar to what we do also at the end of the year. I always say, what challenged me last year? And what do I need to forgive myself for? Sometimes we do set big goals like losing a certain amount of weight, maybe making a big purchase, maybe getting a promotion or career change and it didn't go that way, and just forgive yourself and move on. Replan, repurpose. And what word will guide your August? So if my word for July was intense, what is my word for August? My word for August needs to be something like overcome or I don't know, something like that. So, here's some words: purpose, courage, opportunity, growth, um, blessed. I'm expecting to be blessed in August. This is my birthday month. If you guys didn't know, I'm also having a virtual birthday party on August 15th that I'm excited about. So I'm excited. I'm excited about August. I think breakthrough. August is my breakthrough month, breakthrough birthday month. Okay, so in Go School, we work on one particular goal focus for the month. You can work however you want to work in your book, but as a group, we kind of go in and focus on one. So in January, we worked on our health and fitness. We had a water challenge. February, work on our relationships. March, money. And then July, we worked on our personal development. And now we're switching over to our career goals, career and business. So this is your opportunity to write your business goals or your career goals for August and just hone on to those. Um, a lot of times, you're ready for a career reset if you feel stuck, if you're waiting instead of preparing, if you're lacking direction, if you're ready to move, you're ready for something more, or your work no longer reflects your goals. I was in, maybe I shouldn't say it, so I won't. Um, yeah, so we'll leave that there. What happens when we drift instead of decide? So when you drift instead of growing, you miss opportunities, you limit your skill development, you decrease motivation, you start to live someone else's plan. And so every year you spend without a clear career goal is a year spent reacting to either your employer's needs or the market shifts or the other people's timelines. And so you want to make sure you're intentional about your own profession and don't leave your growth to chance, right? And so 5 benefits of actually pursuing your career goals: it provides direction, increases motivation, helps you grow, creates better opportunities, and it aligns with your purpose. And that's one thing I like about the beginning of the Ultimate Goals Handbook, the before the goals. It kind of takes you through making sure that the goals you set in your journal are yours, that they belong to you. They don't belong to a family member. They don't belong to your significant other. These are the goals that you have set for yourself. And you do that by taking your personal assessments. There are some assessments in here that are spiritual assessments, and there's career goal assessments, there's personality assessments, and you know they may seem like a lot and they may take a little bit of your time, but how about spending a few hours on an assessment instead of spending a few years pursuing a career or pursuing something that's not yours, that you're not comfortable in. So I think this is a duplicate slide here. So you want to choose your number one goal, not 5, not 10, just one. And then you do have a space where you're writing additional ones. But if you ask yourself, what is my number one career goal or my business goal for August? Now, if you're like me, which you probably are, if you're watching this or if you're a part of Go School, you are either multi-talented, multi-dimensional. You have so many goals and aspirations for yourself, and you're seeking the tools and resources to make those things happen. You probably have about 20 goals or more in this category alone. And so what we want to do here, we just want to write one first. What is that number one thing that you can try to knock out? Even if you're not knocking it out this month, You're setting up a plan to eventually knock it out either by the end of the year or in a year's time, followed by those other things. Because remember, when you set these small goals or you set goals that you're actually achieving, that helps give you confidence for your future goals, right? Um, so we're going to go into our workbook. So, which is your handbook. So the handbook is based on 7 steps, which is to write your goals out, to balance them out, to research, affirm, visualize, act, and celebrate. And so balance, I know there's the work-life balance situation, but it's kind of hard to reach a career goal and not ignore your family. It's kind of hard to go for a promotion and not work out. It's kind of hard to attempt to make more money at your job by working overtime and not eat correctly. So the goal is whatever goal you choose is to seek balance in that. You know, if you know that you're going to work more hours at your job and you're normally used to working 8 hours, then you might want to add some more water. You might want to add some more supplements. You might want to take some more B vitamins. You might want to take a salad. You know, you might want to try to balance out that extra time and energy that you're going to be probably exhausted from working an 8 hour shift as opposed to a 12-hour shift. You know, if you're seeking a promotion and you're going to be working late hours, yes, there's caffeine, but there's also electrolytes. So you just want to try to balance out as much as possible and say, hey, even though you are pursuing this big goal, you still can make time for your family dinner on the weekend, or say, hey, marriage Monday, I'm gonna hang out with my wife or my spouse and have coffee. And so this in my this is a 7-step system that I put together that I feel if you work this 7-step, you can reach any goal and you can use this for anything, right? The first thing you want to do, and it's the first thing we do at the end of the year, is the first thing that we do inside of the handbook is the reflection. You know, and we kind of did a little bit of it in the beginning. Um, so reflection transforms experiences into insights. It broadens and enriches thinking. It refocuses on the big picture. You get an opportunity to examine positive and negative outcomes, and it identifies effective actions. Now, what you don't want to do is you want to reflect, because reflection also helps you to stop wasting time. So if you go back and say, "Hey, how is how do I really feel in this career? Do I feel like this is something I'm going to be doing for 5 years from now? Is this something that I can even do in 2 years? How is this career affecting the big picture, my overall goal, or what I want to do in life?" You know, at the end of the month, I always say, "Hey, what happened in July? What can I learn from July? What went bad in July? What went good in July? What do I want to stay the same? What do I want to change?" And so when you sit and spend time on reflecting on what kind of month you had, what kind of goal you have, what kind of year you're having, you're able to kind of restructure how you want to move forward. So even though it takes a little more time, you know, I'm always going to say, you know, hey, this exercise or this takes a little more time, but it's going to take away from you wasting time later, right? So always reflect. Reflect before, even as you're writing out your number one goal, you want you want to say, well, where do I work now? Do I like this job? You know, is it just something, you know, am I gonna do I see myself here in 5 years? And then start making those adjustments. Maybe you're gonna need more skills for that, right? Maybe you're gonna need new relationships. Maybe you're gonna need to move to another city. Okay. So that's the first thing we want to do is write your goals down. You want to clarify, you want to align with your values. That's super important to me. You want to, and sometimes it may not be important to people. And that is okay if that's your life. If you want to choose a career that's going to pay you what you want, and you're willing to sacrifice I can't even let it properly come out because that's not who I am. But if you are seeking a job just for the money and that is your focus, then there you have it, But for me, writing out your goals, making sure it aligns with your values, making sure it aligns with your morals, making sure it aligns with, keeps you motivated and keeps you wanting to be alive, and it aligns with your family values and your goals, then write it down. Oops. And then we talked about a little bit before balance, you know. So how are you going to balance that out? And also balance, say like if your financial goal was to save, say we're doing financial goals. Your finance goals was to save $1,000. You can also balance that out by saying, okay, I'm going to save in a CD. I'm going to save over here. I'm going to um, stop using my credit card. So you're balancing out what that looks like. So even in your career goals, say your career goal is to be a manager. Well, even though you're going to be a manager, you probably want to still exercise. If you probably want to still try to eat healthy, you probably want to read some books on management. So you still are not just having that position, you want to find other supporting goals that balance out your whole life. Hopefully that makes sense. And then research, what people do you need in your life that's going to help you with this goal? What magazines do you need to read? What podcasts do you need to listen to? What books do you need to read? So if your number one goal is to become a manager of, say your number one goal is to become a manager, okay? What people do you need to be around? Maybe people who are already managing, maybe joining a management association, reading books on management, reading magazines on management. But what if you want to be a manager of Panera Bread? You might want to read more specific magazines about food, the food industry, and bread, and things like that. And you might want to go to Panera Bread. Maybe they have people who meet there. So you want to, if you're a singer, maybe you want to hang around singers. You want to get magazines that talk about singing, what kind of microphones you need, what kind of, listen to podcasts of that singers listen to, how to take care of your voice, books on that. And then writing out affirmations. You have a space inside of your handbook to write out your affirmations. And then I'm going to have a list for you too of affirmations that I'm going to put inside of the Go School community. And then a vision board. We do a vision board every year as a family, but you can also do a separate vision board for your career with just your career goals on there. And you can make big vision boards. You can do 8.5 by 11. You can do a digital board. You can do a mini board and put it on your phone as your wallpaper. And then I believe on page 202, you have a space to write your yearly, monthly, and daily goals on there. So say like yearly, I would say every 6 months, but I know life is crazy sometimes. I would at least every year update your bio, update your resume. You don't want to find yourself in a situation where you have an opportunity right in front of you, and then your resume is like 5 years old or your bio is 10 years old. Update your bio, update your resume. When something significant happens, update your bio on the spot. Put it in your Google Notes, Google Docs. When you change jobs, make it a routine that you make. Okay, so either you're doing your resume every year, or once you get a new position, update your resume right away. Put the new job in there while it's still fresh, update it. And you're not thinking about updating because you don't need it. You just got a job. But just think if you updated it right then and another opportunity came through, you can just send it right away. And then celebrate. I'm getting so much better at this. Celebrating your wins, celebrating your milestones. Um, This is so important, celebrating. This month, we are reading The Proximity Principle by Ken Coleman. This is my first time reading this, so it's we are working on careers. It's about careers. Um, so I'm going to be reading it with you guys for the first time. So go ahead if you don't have it yet. I've already posted. I think we're reading pages 1 through 7 today, or 1 through 10. All right. I'm going to get my camera. All right. So yes, we're reading The Proximity Principle by Ken Coleman. And then we're always reading the Ultimate Goals Handbook. So this is the reading plan for August 2026. So that is, I see my little arrow right there. That is available inside the Go School platform also. Hopefully you guys can hear me good because I'm on a new microphone. All right. And then we also have a 30-day career goal challenge, and is inside of the Go School platform. So for if you're a premium member, go ahead. Today is day 1. The instructions are already in there for you. I'm going to skip that. All right. And if you have any questions, this is your opportunity to put those questions in. And you can also ask them either in Go School or underneath the video, the YouTube video. The YouTube video should be up for another hour. All right. All right, guys. So if there are no questions, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and log off, and this video will be available inside of the Go School community. All right. You guys have an awesome Saturday, and I will see you.